Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm the mother of tarot. My name's Megan, and usually I do readings for you guys. I have started to develop my tarot channel and it's been so much fun, but today I want to talk about how I healed chronic illness, because for the first time I am feeling normal and I can safely say that I'm not chronically ill. I still have a couple issues, some back pain and some things like that I'm working through, but I feel like I'm on a whole new level. So this video is to share with you guys. I know a lot of you that follow me on Instagram, that have found my channel, are suffering from chronic illness or know someone. So I want to tell you not just really about my experience, but more of the practical tools and the things that really helped me. If you are curious about my journey, I do have another video on my YouTube channel, and it's called Healing Chronic Illness, and that talks about my whole experience. So if you're curious about that, you can go ahead and check out that video. I do want to mention first that healing chronic illness takes a lot of time. It takes patience. I mean, it was years of me detoxing and healing and going through my spiritual practice before I started to feel normal. Whatever normal is, but you know what I mean. It does take time, and everyone heals differently, so I don't want you to feel like you have to do exactly what I did to heal. That's not the point of this video. It's just to give you suggestions. So if something resonates for you and you're like, that sounds like a good idea, that's something I want to look into, then go for it. But, you know, it's really important to hone in and get into your intuition and try to listen to your body and what it needs, because all of our bodies have so many different needs. And part of healing chronic illness is building that relationship with yourself, loving yourself, and listening to your body, because our bodies communicate in a foreign language, basically. And it's taken me a long time to learn how to speak that language, to learn how to really listen and trust and understand what my body needs. And that's so different than what other people need. I also want to say before we get started that you can and will heal, okay? Like, you have the power to heal. Our bodies are self-healing. It's just about us creating a safe, healthy, healing environment for it, right? It's like we have to get out of the way. We have to knock out the stress, the bad foods, the unhealthy relationships, and once we do that, that's when we can really let our body do its job and do what it's made to do. I also want to mention that please consult your doctor with any of my recommendations. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. I am none of those things. I am a tarot reader. I am a life coach, okay? So I know that this stuff works because I've been through it. So if you want to try any of these methods, make sure to consult your doctor, okay? So the first thing that really helped me heal was changing my diet. That's how I started my journey. Some people start in other avenues, like with meditation or reducing their stress and more of a spiritual practice. But for me, it just made sense to start with food. Now, I did the paleo diet for a long time, and I'm not going to talk about that or say anything bad, but for me personally, it did not work. It did not help. I still was experiencing a lot of chronic issues after being on the paleo diet for years, which is like the low-carb diet. I know it's worked for some people, but when I did my research and I looked into it, I couldn't find anybody like fully healed from chronic illness implementing the paleo lifestyle. Now, if you found someone that's doing that, that's great, but I searched high and low through the internet trying to find someone that healed that way. Yes, I found people that felt better. Lots of people that felt better, but no one that actually healed. So after implementing that diet for so long, which was recommended to me by some nutritionists and some holistic doctors that I had gone to, I finally was like, this isn't working for me. Like, I need to try something else. So I started just like Googling on the internet, like, I started typing in like how I healed from chronic illness, my chronic illness journey, how I healed from cancer or fibromyalgia or autoimmune. And I just started trying to like find the people that were healing, because I'm like, that's my proof, right? So what did I find? Everyone that I found that had healed from different kinds of ailments, like so many different kinds, because I wasn't even sure what was wrong with me. So I was like, I just want to see how these chronically sick people are healing, right? From the things that they weren't even supposed to heal from, like cancer and diabetes and things like that. And I found that they all healed with a plant-based diet. And that kind of made sense to me. So that's where I started. I just started cutting out the meats, cutting out the, well, not completely cutting out the fats, but lowering my fat intake and implementing so many fruits and veggies. I was kind of scared at first because I had been told by one of my practitioners that I had Candida and that I should not have sugar. But I felt in my gut that I had to do some sort of dramatic change, and eating sugar from fruits just felt right to me. So I was like, I'm going to try it. So the detox started to get intense, and then shortly after, I found medical medium. I have talked about this guy all over my Instagram, and he is a medium that connects with spirit to deliver healing messages. So it's all mostly plant-based. It's a lot of supplement recommendations, certain juices and smoothie recipes that have really helped me clean out a lot of crap out of my system. So if you are trying to heal chronic illness, I highly suggest checking him out. You can also, he has like 5 or 6 books out now. I haven't even read all of them. I didn't need to. I still implement a lot of his supplements and healing protocols, but just because I like how it makes me feel and I want to keep my body healthy now that I'm feeling so much better. And he has so many testimonies all over the internet of people healing on his methods, so I highly suggest you check out his Instagram for those as well. Okay, another thing that helped me so much was doing yoga, and I did the hot yoga. When I first started going, I would be really easy on myself. I wouldn't do the whole practice. I couldn't keep up. I was very weak. I had a lot of muscle fatigue, a lot of tension, so I had a lot of chronic fatigue. So I couldn't keep up with the whole class, but just even sitting in that hot room, moving around a little bit and just sweating and draining that lymphatic system, right? Because when we're sick, our lymphatic system gets clogged. This is our sewer system, our waste system. This is where we release toxins. It goes into the lymph, and the only way to pump out our lymph is to move, right? We have to move to pump it. It's like literally a pump inside our body. So once you get moving, and I know some of you are really, really sick and you can't, and gentle exercise is where you start. Like the most gentle stretch, really simple yoga, maybe not in a hot room, or a walking is great, or if you could get a mini trampoline, that's one of the best things to do to detox your lymph system. I love rebounding. That's a whole other thing to look into, but try to get movement, try to get sweating, because that's how we release so much of the toxins and the waste that builds up inside of us, and that's why we're feeling sick, right? But there's so many ways to eliminate toxins. We do when we pee, when we poop, through breathing. We actually remove most of the toxins from our body from our breath. Like when you lose weight and you wonder where that fat goes, you actually breathe it out. I thought you sweat it out, but you breathe it out. Our breath is so powerful, so really starting to use deep breathing techniques, or if you can find a breath class like online or go to one, that is some powerful stuff. I had so much amazing transformation happen through breathwork classes. And there's a lot of different techniques, so that can be something if you've been interested in. Breathing to release toxins is the most powerful way to do it. All right, a good way to heal that I implemented in my life was trying to laugh, which was really hard sometimes, and I almost hate telling you this. Just laugh, because it's like, how can you laugh when you're trying to heal? I know, but it really is good. So try to watch a funny movie, find some funny comedians, funny YouTubers, right, online, through Instagram, funny memes, things like that that can just make you laugh, because laughing is such a high vibration and it's so incredibly healing. And then another tool that helped me so much with my healing journey is finding online support, okay? So finding people that are going through their healing process, that are documenting it on Instagram or YouTube, finding groups of people. Like when I started healing with medical medium, it took a while, but I finally found this group of people in LA, and we're all healing together, and they're actually like still healing now, and I'm still part of the group, and it's so beautiful to have people in your life going through the same thing, because you can have support from your friends and your family, but if they aren't going through the same thing, it feels lonely at times, and I know that feeling. So reach out to people on the internet and say, hey, like, I'm going through the same thing you are. I mean, you'd be surprised how compassionate everyone is. I mean, maybe not surprised, but like, people just want to help each other, because everyone's in a dark space when they're chronically healing, like when they're healing chronic illness, and people want to reach out and they want to connect, so don't feel bad or like, I don't want to bring this to this person. Like, if they're healing, if they're on the same page as you, they will be happy that you reached out to them, because this type of community is so compassionate and so loving. And so I've just met some of the most beautiful people, and they've gone through some of the hardest things that I've ever seen. So reach out, find a support group, find people online, find people on YouTube that are documenting their journey, or find people like I did that were healing, that have healed from like things that, like, they're walking again. Their doctor said they would never walk. They healed stage 4 cancer after their doctor said they had a month to live, and these people are like loving their lives. They have so much gratitude. They're helping the world now with their knowledge that they've learned to heal, and it's like, it's awesome. And it's crazy too, is all of these people are like, they're so happy they went through this illness. And when I watched those things while I was in the midst of some dark healing, I'm like, I am never going to be happy about this. I am never going to be grateful that I went through this dark, depressing illness. Like, no. But I can tell you now that I'm feeling better. I am really, really grateful that I went through this, because I have so much gratitude and compassion. I've met so many amazing, beautiful people. I have a healthy relationship with an amazing man. I've never had that before. I have found my passion. I am making these videos, which is so fun and healing for me. So like, my whole life has changed from going through this chronic illness journey, and so many beautiful things have come from it. So many. So I want you to know that. Like, you might think, oh no, my situation is different. I promise you it's not. Like, you are going to come out of this on the other side a new, shiny, loving, compassionate, like, person ready to help the world. And I know it doesn't feel like that right now, but it is coming. All right, for you readers out there, I'm going to recommend some books. Reading was kind of hard for me because I had a lot of brain fog. It still is kind of hard for me. I have to be really into a book. But if you like to read, these are some recommendations. And if you don't, well, a lot of these authors are on YouTube and have amazing videos, so you can also find them on YouTube. If you're like, I can't read, I can't pay attention, I have too much brain fog, it's hard for me to comprehend what I'm reading, then you can find most of these people online. Okay, so which one first? Let's talk about this guy, Joe Dispenza. He is all about meditation. This guy is an incredible story. I don't know if you've seen the Heal documentary, H-E-A-L, Heal, on Netflix. Oh, it's so good. And it starts off with him talking about his story, because he got hit by a car on his bicycle, and he was told by doctors he had to have like a really intense spinal surgery. And he was like, no, I don't want to have that. And they're like, well, you're not going to walk again. And he was like, I'm going to go home, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to heal myself. And he did. In like 2 or 3 months, he like healed himself. And he was like, wow, I gotta figure out how to teach people to do this, and I want to put my research and my money into science, into studies of how to figure out how this works, like how you can just heal yourself from some crazy surgery just using your mind. So he has some amazing books. He has really amazing videos. He's on Instagram. He's just great. Joe Dispenza. I highly, highly recommend him. This book is a newer book for me, but it's really powerful. It's called Warrior Goddess Training. Become the woman you are meant to be. So this is for my ladies out there. She is a really beautiful writer. I don't really know how to say her name. I'm just going to show you. But she's been through quite the transformation herself. So she has a lot of good advice, a lot of good tips. Really good at shifting your perspective and showing you how much of a warrior you are. It's beautiful. And then you guys have probably heard of this book, The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle. This is a big book. This is about being happy in the moment, right? Okay, oh, and then we have Ask and It Is Given, Learning to Manifest Your Desires. Actually, this is an Abraham, Teachings of Abraham book. And this one I haven't read the whole thing, but I've read bits and pieces, and it's really, really good. So check this one out too, How to Manifest Your Life. It's all about shifting perspectives as well. And the last book I want to share really quick is Dolores Cannon. I actually started watching her videos on YouTube before I even started reading her books, and she does past life regression. So if you're into like wondering about the afterlife, about reincarnation, what happens when you die, parallel universes, just if you want to go down like a deep rabbit hole, then this is your girl. She died like 4 years ago, but she was older. If you look up her videos on YouTube, I love it because she's like this little old lady, and she looks like she's going to teach you how to bake cookies or something, and she's just like talking about, you know, some really deep like parallel universe kind of stuff and like other dimensions and aliens, and you're just like, what? So if you're looking for something like that, she really helped me kind of not be so afraid of death and bring peace into that kind of area of my life, because I think a lot of people fear death, and she just brings a lot of like comfort and beauty into like the unknown, because what she does is she regresses people into their past lives, and she's done so many past life regressions that through her hypnosis technique that she's been able to compile research of like what happens when you die, what happens in other lifetimes, why we come to this planet. So anyways, if you're into that, check her out. Okay, another thing that I did a lot of when I was healing is I did salt baths. Epsom salt, sea salt, essential oils, burned some candles. I work with crystals as well. That has been so helpful for me. When you're in a salt bath, it really cleanses and detoxifies you. If you put baking soda in as well, that can help draw out the toxins. It's always been really relaxing for me. I put on beautiful music. I'll bring out my crystals, light a candle, and I'll set intentions. I'll say a prayer. And sometimes I'll just visualize myself as healthy and like what I want to accomplish in my life and the things that I want to manifest. So, and salt water actually cleanses away negative energy. So it's a beautiful way to like cleanse and like restore yourself. Okay, and for this topic, this one's a little bit more sensitive to people. I want to talk about reducing stress. When our body is stressed out, we're in that fight or flight system, right? We're in that, just like, especially when we're sick, we're stressed out. Like, we were stressed out before, and now that we're sick, we're still stressed about all those other things. Now we're stressed out about being sick, and it just adds so much stress. And then if you have a job that's stressful, right? If you have a relationship that's stressful, these are all going to block you from healing. It's really important to get a lot of rest and sleep while you're healing, a lot of relaxation, and kind of training your body, because when you get chronically sick, or you don't even have to get chronically sick, your body can get in this constant stress out mode. I remember a few years ago during my healing journey, I felt like somebody was squeezing me the whole time. I just felt like someone was clenching my muscles, and that's just because I was constantly stressed out. I didn't know how to get out of that energy. And what I'm trying to say is if you're in a really stressful job and you're feeling really sick and you're not able to get better, it's really important to find a different job. I was still working at restaurants a lot while I was healing, and it could be stressful at times, and I don't recommend it. Like, you still can heal while you're stressed out, but it's going to take longer. And if I would have known that as much as I know now, I wouldn't have kept working. I really wanted to be independent. I didn't want to have to like go back home and live with my parents. I wanted to just keep pushing. And now I just have a completely different mindset, and I just want to let you know, if you're in a really stressful job, if you're working too many hours, if you're in a really stressed out relationship or something like that, these things are all going to just slow down your progress. Like, you still can heal. It's just going to take a lot longer. So I highly recommend trying to de-stress your life in all areas that you can. Okay, another tip for healing is get into nature. Get your feet into the earth. Like, it's grounding, and look up grounding. It's just the process of like your body making contact with the planet, with nature. So touch a tree, get in nature, soak it up. It's so healing. Watch the sunset or gaze at the moon. These things connect us with Mother Earth, and we come from Mother Earth, right? We're made of the same things as the earth is, and the earth has so many healing properties that it's actually proven now that when we actually walk on the earth with our bare feet, that our body actually heals it really quickly. There's a certain kind of charging that happens between our ions when we connect with the planet, and a lot of deep healing can happen, and it's really beautiful. So please spend some more time outside and in nature. And if you can't, if you're like, I can't get outside, I'm too sick, or I can't do this, well, that's when you bring in these healing foods, right? These fruits and vegetables, because you're basically eating nature. Or that's when you work with crystals, because crystals and rocks and things like that, they're all part of the earth, right? So if you place them on you during meditation, you hold them or you wear them around your neck, like this beautiful lapis lazuli, you're actually grounding with it because it's from the earth, right? So there's so many different ways to get grounded. The salt bath as well, that's another beautiful way to get grounded. Okay, this is a really important step, I believe, with healing. I almost want to say I think everyone should do this step. It's pretty easy, but it does take commitment to do it like every day or at least a few times a week, and that's to write, to journal, to get a journal, to write your feelings, even if they're negative, just to write them out. Write out the good things that you're grateful for that you still have, like the support or, you know, the house or whatever it is that you are grateful for. Write those things down. Right when you have a good day, right when you have a bad day, just write everything. Write everything, okay? Dream journal. This is my dream journal. Write down your dreams. There's really good, important healing messages from dreams, and I have a whole video on that on my YouTube channel called Decoding Your Dreams. So if you're curious to know how to analyze your dreams to see what they mean, our dreams are always messages from our higher self. They're messages from God, Spirit, and our angels to give us information. So I highly suggest checking out that video. And then I also have my manifestation notebook. I love this technique. This is actually something I started towards the end of my healing journey, which I would have started a long time ago because it really has a powerful technique. You write down the things that you want, but you write them down as if you already have them. So like for me, I would write down, well here, let's just look. I'll read some of the things I've written down. Okay, so I put, I am so powerful and can really see my gifts, powers, and worth. I love that one. I wrote these down in January, and it is May now. It says, money flows to me with ease and love. I put, I vibrate so high that I feel joy, peace, and enlightenment. I put that I feel so calm and relaxed most of the time, because I still deal with some anxiety issues. I put, miracles happen daily in my life. But my life is beautiful and magical. Oh, and look what I wrote down in January. I put, my physical body is healed. And it's May, and now I feel so good. Like, this is it worked. January, I was still dealing with some issues. I put, I have removed the emotional blockages in my body that were causing physical pain. Definitely removed a lot of those, especially in January and February. So anyways, my point is, get a book, notebook, dedicated to just being your manifestation book. You can call it your spell book, your whatever you want to call it, but it really does work. And what I do is I just write the date down. I try to do it every day, write the date down, and write like a full page just of, it can be anything. It can be anything. Alright, so another thing I did for my healing is I went to an ayahuasca retreat in Costa Rica. You don't have to do this, but if you're feeling called, it was one of the most beautiful healing experiences of my life. And oh man, do you release some stuff. I remember coming back from my trip after doing it, like ayahuasca, which is a plant medicine. I did it 4 nights in a row. Actually, it was 4 nights in a row. I could only do the 3 nights because I was experiencing some extreme detox from the medicine. But it was the best week of my life. I met the most incredibly beautiful, compassionate people. I did so much inner work and healing, but everything was just like, when you're on ayahuasca, it just heightens your intuition and it just makes everything make more sense. Like, oh, it's beautiful. I just got the chills thinking about my time there. And you don't have to do ayahuasca, but that was something that I felt called to do. And if you feel called to do it, then that's your intuition. That's your higher self telling you to do it. So, highly suggest checking it out. The place that I went to is called Rhythmia in Costa Rica, and it's so beautiful. So you can check out, there's a lot of really good testimonies on TripAdvisory. So if you go to the website and type in Rhythmia, you can read about hundreds of beautiful testimonies from people all over the world, and it's really something. Okay, so another tip that I think is really good is to talk to a therapist or go to counseling. I didn't do enough of this. I really didn't. I was really struggling with money issues the whole time that I was healing. But if you do have the money and you do feel called to do that, talking these things out with somebody that has a professional opinion is really, really helpful. I did it a little bit, but then I could never afford it. So a thing that I started doing at the end of last year was I started going on YouTube and typing in pick a card readings or astrology readings, and I found these tarot readers that were so on point. It was like so freaky because what they do is, well, it's what I do now because I love it. They take tarot cards and oracle cards and they lay out like 4 different piles. They'll put stones on them and you pick which pile you think is for you. You have to kind of go with your gut, and then you pick the pile, you go to the timestamp they provide, and then they deliver this message for you. And they're like, okay, this is why you're feeling stuck, or this is what you need to hear right now, or it could be with a love life too, like if you're struggling with a relationship. So anyways, and I got so much clarity and like so many beautiful messages, and that's not for everybody. It's really not. You really have to. It took me a while to get to that point in my healing. That was like towards the end, but for me, I was like, this is like free therapy. This is amazing. And I did find one tarot reader, and I did actually book an appointment and pay for a personal one-on-one reading, and that was like, she was like a life coach and a tarot reader, so combined. So she gave me like practical tools that I needed to like kind of build my business, which is like what I'm doing now, and heal some things that I wasn't aware of. And but anyways, if you feel called to check that out, which you might be because you're watching my channel and I offer those, there's so many good readers, and I could suggest some, and I have actually some suggestions for some readers on my Instagram, but I feel like our guides and our higher selves all talk through different people, so really just find the readers that resonate for you. All right, another step in my healing journey was learning how to love myself. I didn't love myself pretty much my entire life, and I didn't really realize that until I started healing. I thought I did. I never was like, I hate myself, I hate my life. I've always been an optimistic person. I've always been more positive, more cheery, I've always been like that. So you wouldn't think that I hated myself, and I didn't think that either. But I know I didn't love myself. I didn't, because I was looking for love from other sources, from other people, from other things. And when you truly love yourself, you realize you don't need any of that. And that is a process. I'm not telling you right now, you just need to start loving yourself. Like, start learning how to love yourself. Start the process, because it takes time. Be patient with yourself. Tell yourself you love yourself, even if it feels weird. Do things for yourself. Like eating healthy foods is a form of self-love. Reading certain books and journaling, right? And taking a salt bath and spending time in nature. These are all forms of self-love. So all of these tools that I'm giving you are ways to start loving yourself, but just to practice that awareness. And when you start to have negative thoughts about yourself or of the world, try to just bring love and compassion, because we're our own worst self-critics. We're all so hard on ourselves, and especially when you're dealing with chronic illness and you're healing, you're like, I should have eaten that, I shouldn't have eaten that, I should have done this, like, oh, this is going to take me back 5 steps. Oh, this is, you kind of like overthink everything in your head, because it's kind of traumatizing when you try to heal your body of chronic illness. Because for me, I went to so many doctors, and they didn't know what was wrong with me. And then when I went to holistic doctors, they started to help me, but they all gave me different diagnoses, and they never really was like, you need to go on a plant-based diet, you need to reduce your stress. Like, the things that I needed to really work on, they weren't giving to me. I needed to find them for myself, and I did. Because I got fed up, and I was like, I'm going to figure this out. But anyways, this process, what I'm trying to say, it's stressful, it's hard. I get it. And self-love is going to help so much. So along with that is what I talked about is practicing awareness of your thoughts, right? Also practicing gratitude, being really grateful for the things that you do have, starting to shift your perspective. And not that you always have to be practicing awareness and always be practicing gratitude. It's okay to feel the dark too. It's a balance of learning how to heal, how to process the dark emotions, how to release, how to heal. Because when you start healing chronic illness and you start eating better high vibrational foods and you start to love yourself and you start to do all these things, you're not only detoxing on a physical level, you're detoxing on an emotional and mental level. So sometimes I would detox so hard, it would put me in like a deep pit of depression, or it would get my anxiety going, and it would just, because all of these negative emotions have to come out. And when they come out, you have to feel them. You have to feel them first before you can release them. It's really uncomfortable. And it's hard learning that process, but it's all part of the beautiful, beautiful journey, right? So, yeah. Whew, take a breath. I feel like I'm walking back down memory lane of all of the stuff that I experienced. I feel like I can't even get into all of it into this video. I mean, there's so much to it. Okay, and when I talked earlier about feeling the dark and releasing, yes, cry, get mad, yell. Don't hold that stuff in, because it's just going to keep you from healing when you hold those negative energies in. Sometimes we got to express it. I cried so much through my healing journey, and sometimes I didn't even know why I was crying. Like, that was my form of release. Everyone has different forms, but if you try to start seeing crying as a beautiful way to release, because now I love my cries. I'm like, yeah, get it out, Megan. It feels good. Like, cry. Or even when I cry in front of people, I'm like, I don't care. This is me. I'm just crying. Like, and I used to never be like that. I'm like, I don't want anyone to see me cry. I don't want to cry because I get all red. My eyes get puffy. I get all snotty and gross. But now I'm like, no, crying is such a natural, beautiful human expression. So if you need to cry, if you need to yell, however you need to get this emotion, these negative emotions out, like, do it. As long as you're not harming anyone else, right? Of course. Just do it. Feel it out. All right, and then one of the last tips I want to talk about is forgiveness. Yes. Trying to forgive people in your life, trying to forgive yourself. When I started to deal with healing chronic illness, I had a hard time forgiving myself, because I thought, oh my God, I got myself in this situation. How could I do this to myself? How could I let this happen? Like, I'm not adulting, right? I'm not where I'm supposed to be in my life. I'm in my 30s and I should be this, doing this and that. And I had to practice a lot of forgiveness to myself and a lot of acceptance. And then forgiveness for other people. I've been in some shitty relationships and I had to practice forgiveness. And I didn't really have to go out and talk to these people. I just needed to forgive them within my heart space, right? Forgive the people that hurt me, that disappointed me. And then forgive myself a lot of the time. So try to start practicing forgiveness. I do that through meditation. It's really helpful, and it's a really beautiful thing, because when you hold any kind of resentment towards yourself or other people, it just causes a lot of stress and anxiety and depression and all these feelings. It keeps us from feeling free. It keeps us from the freedom that, like, we, not just that we deserve, but like that's already part of us, to like unlocking the freedom and peace within. So I hope that this gave you guys some encouragement. If you are out there and you're in the process of detoxing, or you know someone that is, like, I feel for you. I have so much passion for you. Like, I want you to know that, like, you have the ability to heal your body. You have every God-given right to heal. And I know it doesn't feel like that sometimes, and I know it can be dark. And I know this might seem like a lot of work, all the things that I said, and I don't want you to just start doing all of them. Like, take one or two things from this video and say, okay, I can do this and I can do that. Start there. Or just start with one thing. If you try to do too many things, you're not going to stick with it. I've tried that before. I remember when I first even read the Medical Medium book, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do this and I have to do that, and I have to do this and I have to take all these supplements, and I put too much on my plate, and then the detox was too heavy. And it ended up doing more harm than good, because you can't rush through this process. I wish I could tell you, like, heal in 3 days time with this method. But I can't. That's not how it works, especially if you're chronically ill, especially if you've had illness for a long time. For some people, I know you just started suffering, but before you've been super, super healthy and it's very new. And for some people, you can get through this this healing journey rather quicker than other people. You might in 3 or 4 months' time be healed, and you might be thinking, that's a long time. That is not a long time, okay? Years is a long time. And for some of you, it will take years. And I wish I could tell you it would be sooner, but it really just depends on what your journey is supposed to be, because you're here for a reason, and this is all happening for a bigger, better reason, I promise you. And I'm just sending so much light and compassion to all of you. So I do offer one-on-one readings. If you're interested, you can find all that information in the description box below. What I do is I read your current energy. I find things from the past that could be blocking you. I deal with emotional blockages, and then I can also recommend different foods and healing techniques. So if you're interested in working with someone like that, I'm here for you. I've been through it. Like, I got so much information to share. There's so much more things I could talk about in this video, but I don't want to make it too long. I just want to get the basics in it. I also have a lot of pick a card readings, and if you want to follow me on Instagram as well, I offer lots of healing information there, and I'm a lot more active. So if you want to connect with me, I'm here for you guys. All right. I love you so much. Thank you for checking out my video. If you want to subscribe, that'd be cool. If not, I'm just sending you so many blessings. All right. Thank you.